Hey, I liked your analysis. I don't do this very much, but I do like what I saw in your video. I think you're right on point. A lot of conservatives that I listen to, from the great one Mark Levin to Sean Hannity, have made some similar points, and I think your analysis was really right on. I think that this ping-ponging effect has to stop. It's, if you saw the scale from on the left, I'm going to do this from your perspective, from left to right, right being the absence of government control and the left being absolute government control. We've sort of ping-ponged ever since the day, well, from a long time ago, obviously, the Great Society, the New Deal, all the socialist type programs that started to come along. We've sort of ping-ponged. The Republicans started off being very small government minded, and I think several of us still are. I'm a conservative first, a Republican second, mind you, but we've had this populist thing. The Democrats started off opposing the robber barons, the people, the uber wealthy, who were sort of mean-spirited people and easy to dislike. And they used this measure to bounce the entire political spectrum further to the left every time there's an election. The populist thing comes up that used to work for the Democrats and still does to some degree. They just use it to say, well, you mean-spirited Republican, homophobe, whatever, name the the bad thing that they call us. They say, well, you're homophobic, you're racist, you're bigoted, you're all these bad things, you don't like the change, you're not changing with the times. They kind of paint us in a certain way with using the media and sort of just dragging the Republicans along this chain all the way from where they started off as a very constitutionally based, very libertarian sort of point of view, almost libertarian. Basically, they've just gone, well, we're over here, and see, we're for the people. And then the Republicans cower and go, oh, well, we're for the people too. And then they knuckle under and just make this whole thing even worse, and we just drift slowly. Every time there's an election, they try to create some space and say there's a difference between us and them. But what it ends up being is we try to hug them a little bit to get those centrist, moderate, milquetoast, completely, probably uneducated people. Let's face it, we have an uneducated electorate. People in our society are just not up on politics. They're just not up on the Constitution, and you get people like Barack Obama saying things like the Constitution is nothing but a charter of negative liberties, and we should have the government doing more for us instead of just keeping their hands off of us. And it makes sense to people. The people find any excuse they can to sort of get help. Everybody wants help, and they want the help to come from this benign benefactor, the federal government. And we've actually made people absolutely stupid. They cannot figure out that government control is swallowing us up, and liberties and freedoms that we used to enjoy and were never even discussed. Just now they're in question. And the more that they can drag the control away from the people, and into their own hands, the worse off we're going to be for it. We're stifling growth. We're stifling entrepreneurial spirit. Our high taxation, corporate taxes are way up, and just every time the Democrats seem to have this wonderful spin machine, who are a bunch of Marxist leftists that just basically think that, oh, well, the government has the best answer. All you hick hayseeds out there that believe in God, and you're going to sit there and talk about, how you were endowed by a creator. Don't you know that the cosmonauts went into, Yuri Gagarin went into space and he didn't see God up there. You guys are all blowing smoke. The government gives you your rights. And when we see fit to not give you your rights anymore, you won't have them. And that's the problem we're running into right now, is that basically we're cowering. The conservative movement is fighting itself not to just cower and go, oh my gosh, they're painting us like hayseed hicks that believe in God, that believe that our rights come from our Creator, then they're not bestowed by our government. but rather are to be respected by our government. And all the people, there's so many dissonant groups that have formed this coalition in the Democratic Party. It's sickening how I don't know how they all stick together, but yet they all stay there bickering just enough to, get into power and then fight it out from that perspective when they're already in power. It just sickens me. I see what's happening here and it just makes me upset. It's like, man, come on now. You people are willing to give so much of your liberty away, and you're willing to use the force of government to take from your neighbor because he has more than you. And that's not right. And believe me when I say, I'm not a rich guy. I'm not a blue blood country club Republican, that was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. I've fought hard for everything I've got, and I've had to scrape and scrimp and face hardships, largely by myself. I'm not one of the guys that you'd say, well, of course you're a Republican. You've got this, blue blood heritage. You've got this silver spoon. It's not so. But I know fair play when I see it. And I'll tell you what, it really pisses me off when people just sit there and bang on Republicans who largely are the party of core, constitutional value and basically good, clean living. Not that all of them have been that clean living. Of course, we know better, but still, principles prevail where men fail. And to say that, I don't know. I'm going off here. I like the substance of your video, and I wanted to make a response back. And I find that what you're saying is so true. You basically have this leftward movement that is like a freight train, and it's being supported by a lot of scare tactics, unfair media treatment of Republicans, especially Sarah Palin. And I think it's bullshit. And I think that the people that are on our side are just coming into their own to try to make sense of this all, because you can always tell what you should do. When the liberal media says that you shouldn't do something, and you know that they're in bed with the Democrats, just up to the eyes, you need to go and do the opposite thing. When they say, Palin is ineffective, or Palin's this or that, or just a beauty queen and not much upstairs, that's BS. And you need to just go, okay, this is who you fear, and that's who we're going to run. We've got a lot of great leaders, great candidates, and from them I hope that we have the sense to really kind of look at what they're saying and use that. And furthermore, they use untruths and half-truths to kind of scare us into moving a certain direction. We need to take heed of that. Okay, you need to be more centrist and moderate. No, we don't. We tried that, like you said. We tried McCain. McCain was a man who I deeply respect as a war hero and a person who's given a lot in sacrifice to this country and its purposes. I got nothing but respect for the man, but I don't favor him as a politician, and especially not a presidential candidate. Okay? The man had a lot of great virtue, but he is not a great leader for the conservatives. And the Republican Party is home to the conservatives. First and foremost, that is the base. And we can attract people by using a better messenger. And defining ourselves based on constitutional values and family values, and all of our constituencies can live together. We have a big enough tent, and we have a lot of our. We found peace within our party and where we're at. Old-fashioned values. I'm okay with that, and I'm not that old. I can live with that. So I just wanted to say, kudos on your video. Give me a feedback on this if you like. I'm going to hit you up as a friend on this thing. I just wanted to reiterate that I love what you said, man. That was very cool. I just found you today with this video. I'm sure it's been around for a little while, and I just didn't catch it quickly enough. But great stuff, man. Keep it coming. I'm going to subscribe.